versus MOUAFO.
So into the arena steps Christopher MOUAFO. 29 years of age is the man from Cameroon, resides in Switzerland, nicknamed the Ruthless. Brings a 12-fight professional record to the boxing ring. 11 wins, just one solitary loss, and 6 of those wins coming inside the distance. 6-fight winning streak since that sole reversal. Coming back in April of 2023. And has boxed extensively in Switzerland since that time, his last starting in February of this year, coming in Kigali. So no stranger to boxing on the road. His most recent outing in Rwandan capital.
Угол ринга. Обладатель чемпионского пояса из Таджикистана. Bakhodur USMONOV.
Well, once again, the home fans are showing out and showing love for one of their own, because into the arena with his hat to the back steps Bakhodur USMONOV. Outstanding boxer in the 3-round format of the IBA code. World Championship bronze medalist in Tashkent, Uzbekistan a couple of years ago. I was ringside to commentate on that tournament. Absolutely sensational operator. Represented Tajikistan at the Olympic Games as well. Perfect on the IBA stage and an undefeated 10-0 in the professional ranks. His most recent outing coming in May of this year right here at the Tennis and Water Sports Complex, where he scored a 3rd-round knockout to take that IBA Intercontinental title that he defends tonight.
Дмитрий Болдырев, Сергей Журкин, Игорь Бещук, ваш судья-хронометрист Нияз Мир Папаев. И с ударом гонга рефери в ринге Семен Стахеев. Итак, дамы и господа на трибунах, миллионы фанатов бокса во всем мире в прямом эфире с арены Дворца тенниса и водных видов спорта. Турнир, главное событие вечера, Винлайн IBA.PRO! Представляю вам соперников. И первым претендента в черном углу ринга. Ему 29 лет, рост 170 сантиметров, вес 61 килограмм ровно. Его профессиональный рекорд – 11 побед, включая 6 побед нокаутом и только одно поражение. Дамы и господа, он чемпион WBO Global в легком весе, представляющий Швейцария, родом из Камеруна. Приветствуйте, Кристофер The Ruthless MOUAFO! А вот и его соперник в золотом углу ринга, обладатель чемпионского пояса. Ему 27 лет, рост 174 сантиметра, вес 61,5 килограмма. Его прекрасный профессиональный рекорд – 10 побед, включая 5 больших побед нокаутом и ни одного поражения, дамы и господа. Он чемпион Азии 2019, призер чемпионата мира, обладатель пояса WBA 2025 и действующий чемпион IBA.PRO Intercontinental в легком весе из Душанбе, Республика Таджикистан. Приветствуйте, Bakhodur USMONOV!
So Mr. Semon Stakiev with the final instructions as we take a look at the tail of the tape between Bakhodur Usmonov and Christopher MOUAFO, the IBA Intercontinental title on the line. Usmonov wearing white trunks trimmed with gold, looking to defend the title that he secured so impressively on his last outing here at the Tennis and Water Sports Palace in Dushanbe. It's scheduled for 10. It's a contest made at 61.2 kilograms. That's practically the lightweight limit, just inside the 135 pound or 9 stone 9 lightweight limit. A few ounces inside. Let's see MOUAFO just seeking to establish his left jab, slightly shorter of the two boxers. To just gauge the distance with his own lead left, but Usmonov is a really skillful operator, capable of boxing in so many ways, as we see him varying the height on that jab to the body, countered immediately by a jab downstairs by MOUAFO. Nice left hand to the chest and right hand to the rib cage from MOUAFO. Turn the right hook around the corner. Mention the fact that he's rattled off 6 wins without reply since that lone reversal taking place in Bern in Switzerland. WBO global titleist, secured that in September of last year. And what those multiple titles do, as is in the case in IBA.PRO boxing, as MOUAFO lands a good right hand to the body, they get you on the radar for bigger titles, continental titles, intercontinental titles, things of that nature, whichever designation you have or sanctioning body you have to be boxing for, as Usmonov goes in search of the left hand and then drops it down to the body beautifully, turns the palm to the ring lights to score with a left hook just above the belt line, brings the jab back upstairs. That is the value of those titles, stepping stones often for grander things, and gets the fighter used to being a champion, in possession of that belt, and stokes their hunger because they want bigger belts and the bigger attendant prizes that goes with it in this sport of boxing. Prize fighting. The bigger the fight, the bigger the prize. Nice left jab being established by Usmonov now, but MOUAFO clearly demonstrating that he knows his way around the boxing ring, but you can see now the taller man, Usmonov, just beginning to establish that long left hand and keep MOUAFO on the end of it. Another left jab shoots through the gap over the low-held hands of the Cameroonian boxer based in Switzerland. So it was a bright start by MOUAFO, but Usmonov, the more we have gone into the round, is just began to control things for my money with that lead left. Nice movement to avoid the jab from MOUAFO. Terrific quality in evidence during the course of that opening round. So moving to the second round, as well as that World Championship bronze, where I had the privilege of being ringside at the magnificent Demo Arena in Tashkent to see him occupy the bronze medal rostrum, with both men starting brightly to begin this second round. After being put on the end of jabs, MOUAFO responding with combinations downstairs of his own. Now he's looking to bring the uppercut into play. Usmonov really determined to put his man on the end of that lead left stick and keep him beyond his own punching range, given the disparity in height and reach between these two boxers. But that World Championship bronze was always on the radar of fans who follow IBA boxing, because Usmanov claimed 2019 Asian Championship gold at the 2019 edition in Bangkok. Never present the following 2 editions on the medal rostrum, taking bronze in Dubai in 21 during the COVID lockout and 2022 in Oman. And now Usmanov seeking to go through the gears once again. Nice parry block with the right glove from MOUAFO, knocking down that incoming offense from Usmanov, who's just electing to drop that left hand while he was out of punching range to vary the angle of arrival from that lead left hand. And look how busy he is with it. And MOUAFO, well, he's got his hands full trying to deal with that. You see him trying to counter, nice head movements as he engaged reverse gear and allowed those shots to go over his shoulder, but a beautiful double left hand, body, then an uppercut to the head from Usmanov, and then bringing the right uppercut into play as well. Terrific tempo being set beyond the halfway stage of this second round by Usmanov. MOUAFO, all the credentials that he and ability that he brings to the ring. No panic evident in his body language, but he's going to have to begin to try to respond. There's a nice counter jab. You see how it landed with a bent arm from MOUAFO. But now seeking to get him back on the end of the straight lead left stick. Oh, beautiful double left hand from Usmanov. Body then head. It was a hook to the body and uppercut to the head. Really eye-catching work with the lead hand, and again he continues to remain incredibly active with it, snaking it out repeatedly. Jab, then an uppercut, then a right cross over the top. And MOUAFO, there's a solid left jab from him. He's in the contest, but he's got to do more as he has his chin checked by a right hook out of the orthodox stance, then a right hand slung into the body in a bid to bring those hands down by Usmanov. Inaccurate was MOUAFO in response. But this is really clever boxing being produced by Usmanov. And MOUAFO there, he scored with a left jab during the course of a combination. The follow-up was inaccurate, but at least he's showing competitive spirit and letting Usmanov know that this is anything but one-way traffic. Terrific round of boxing. I happen to think the greater punch output and accuracy of the work from Usmanov is enough to take it, but MOUAFO continuing to show him that he is up for the fight with some moments of quality of his own. Good round. So we move into the third round. It's scheduled for 10. Usmanov back in the ring for the first, as recent after having been in there as recently as May, stopping IBA.PRO of the Philippines in the third round to claim that IBA Intercontinental lightweight crown. MOUAFO was last in the ring in February, as mentioned, in the Rwandan capital, Kigali. There's a nice left hook, followed up by an attempted right and another left hook by MOUAFO. But after the final 2 shots were inaccurate, he was put on the ropes and worked over effectively to both head and body by Usmanov. And again, Usmanov seeks to impose his physicality and keep MOUAFO on the end of his punches. Wonderful left hand slung into the body that dipped MOUAFO's knees momentarily. But again, he's showing his competitive spirit. Fights his way out of the corner, gets back to the space of center ring, and continues to go in search of his own offense. But he's finding a dynamic figure in front of him in the form of Bakhodur Usmanov, whose punch output has been unrelenting for the first 2.5 rounds of this contest scheduled for 10. MOUAFO trying to answer, but inaccurate once again. The left hand continuing to be snapped out into his face. There's the right cross, but then good work to both body and head from MOUAFO. But you see, having the first and final word is Usmanov going through the gears beautifully, almost threatening to push MOUAFO through the ropes, but he got himself off the strands, back to the space of ring center. but he's being touched up repeatedly by this trip hammer of a lead left hand. Beyond the halfway stage of round number 3. And USMONOV is setting a terrific pace in this lightweight contest. There's a low blow that threatened, that did indeed stray low. The referee, Mr. Seymour Stakiev, on that infringement in an instant. No complaints from MOUAFO. But again, he's continuing to be fed a steady stream of leather here. There he has his own success. Now he finds himself on the ropes once again, and USMONOV seeks to capitalize on his position of confinement. Nice two-shot combination from MOUAFO. But he's not being given any room to think or set or breathe by USMONOV. Non-stop punch output being produced by the 2023 World Championship bronze medalist. Beautiful right hand lead slung into the body by MOUAFO. Goes in search of a jab, couldn't find a range. Left hook to the body is a nice counter shot from MOUAFO. Comes back with a left jab of his own. So MOUAFO at times punching with USMONOV. Oh, and there's a left hook that wasn't too far away. Because when he's going in search of his own offense, when USMONOV isn't punching, he's often inaccurate, and then finding USMONOV come straight back. But when he elected to punch with him, he had some real success, particularly with his left hook to the body. Good response and intelligence shown by Christopher MOUAFO. So moving to the 4th round, MOUAFO seemingly making an adaptation to punch with USMONOV during the closing stages of that 4th round, and he had real success, particularly with his crisp left hook to the body. Right uppercut brought into play by MOUAFO, but it found the space had been vacated by USMONOV, who's seeking to establish that left jab once again, operating out of a different posture now, more flat-footed, hands held high. As I say that, he gets back onto his toes, and look at how he was able to touch MOUAFO repeatedly with that left jab. There's a nice counter left hook from MOUAFO, but then having the final word, shooting punches in between the high-held gloves of MOUAFO, is USMONOV. He's doing a really good job as the two men exchange left hooks downstairs. MOUAFO was really eye-catching as he leaned over to his left and drove in the left hand with the palm turned upwards. But then again, it's USMONOV ensuring that he goes first and last. Of course, this is boxing. When you're in with a competent operator, as USMONOV continuing to vary the height of his jab nicely, that's just competitiveness. Roy Jones Jr. often said if you hit him once, he wants to hit you twice. If you hit him twice, he wants to hit you 6 times. During the course of his glittering career, and now it's USMONOV with MOUAFO pinned to the ropes. He's contemptuously grinning that gum shield, but he was scored upon to the body. Now he's trying to distract USMONOV, but he's too professional for that. Left hand to the body from USMONOV is countered by a left hook to the head from MOUAFO, showing that he's still competitive, but he lost that portion of the round because he was outworked effectively by the accurate offense of USMONOV. Beautiful combination to both body and head again from USMONOV. Impressive variety being shown by the 2019 Asian champion. Continuing to adjust to life in the professional ranks. Made his debut after his Olympic appearance, before his Olympic appearance in Tokyo, coming in December 2020. So he's switched the two codes effectively, as so many of the elite IBA operators do, but it's USMONOV. Busier boxer once again. While he was caught on the inside, MOUAFO was in search of him with left hooks. Couldn't find the range, normally with that right hand lead. MOUAFO finding himself on the ropes once again. Clever counter left hook from MOUAFO, but not until after he was scored upon with a greater number of punches from USMONOV. Another good round of boxing, and the pattern that has been established continuing here at the Tennis and Water Sports Palace, because MOUAFO clearly knows what he is doing. Beautiful exchange of body shots between these two skillful operators, but I just think that USMONOV, his greater volume, is giving him these rounds. So, wants to pick up the pace and work with, or indeed outwork, Bakhodur USMONOV. So into the fifth round then, it's a lightweight contest scheduled for 10. USMONOV eliminated in the round of 32 at last year's Paris Olympic Games. Inside to commentate on that tournament, it was Vladislav Rozenov who bested him. But to give you an idea of the man from Bulgaria's abilities, he holds the win over Erislandi Alvarez, the man who went on to claim Olympic gold in Paris last year. That is the type of caliber that is often being showcased on IBA.PRO nights. This is IBA.PRO 8 back in Tajikistan once again. Tajikistan's favorite fighting sons from right here in Dushanbe. Finds himself in a competitive match. It's a match I think he's winning as we approach the halfway stage, as he lands a beautiful right hand left hook in a reverse 1-2. But he's in against Christopher MOUAFO, WBO global lightweight title. Again, that's a stepping stone belt en route to world honors. The two men are producing a compelling spectacle so far. Counter left jab not too far away from MOUAFO. He offers the low held hand guard now. Hands up, back around his temple, takes a jab to the body in between his elbows, counters with a jab of his own after being scored upon to the body. But you see the greater volume continues to come from Bakhodur USMONOV. Wonderful variety with the lead left hand again, scoring upstairs and downstairs. Seeking to answer was MOUAFO, but rather inaccurate with his attempted response. Well, he really isn't being left alone here, Christopher MOUAFO. Always finding leather in his face, and Bakhodur USMONOV in his presence. And because of the height advantage that USMONOV enjoys, he can often be in his own punching range, which is beyond the wheelhouse of the more compact boxer from Cameroon. Nice use of the legs from USMONOV to increase the gap between himself and MOUAFO. MOUAFO going in search of a left-right to the body, but couldn't find the target. As USMONOV steps back in on flat feet and scores with a left-right upstairs, then a left hook to the body, followed by a right hand beneath the left elbow. MOUAFO responds with a right hand to the body, went in search of a left hook upstairs, inaccurate, and then it's in USMONOV's punching range, but beyond that of MOUAFO, now he gets back into mid-range and scores with a left hook to the body. Counter left hook from MOUAFO is an effective shot. The roundhouse right is inaccurate from MOUAFO. But a very good round of boxing once again, but once more, I think it's a repeat of what has gone before, in that the greater volume of punches, the more consistently landed punches coming from Bakhodur USMONOV. So into the second half of this contest we go. 5 rounds completed, a scheduled 5 rounds remain. It's lightweight action, made at 61.2 kilograms, which is just under the lightweight limit of 135 pounds. And so far for my money, the man in white who just resumed the same pattern once again. Greater activity. Must have him ahead on the scorecard. At least that's how I see it from our commentary position here at the Tennis and Water Sports Palace. But MOUAFO move into the second half of the contest. Perhaps aware of that, there's a wonderful corkscrew left hand from USMONOV. He has come out with more urgency, quickening the tempo in this 6th round. And there is a good combination of punches upstairs and downstairs, followed by a final salvo up to the head from MOUAFO. USMONOV answers immediately, using that piercing left jab once again. Nice movement in the pocket from USMONOV, rolling at the waist to cause the shot from MOUAFO to go over his head. And then it's in and out with the feet once more from USMONOV. There's a beautiful thrusting jab to the body from MOUAFO. And another one, but he's countered by a left uppercut from USMONOV. So what can MOUAFO do to sustain these attacks? He's picked off by a left jab once again, tries a flashy counter right uppercut, but was off the mark, and it's USMONOV with an eye-catching left hook to conclude that combination, then a sumptuous left hook down to the body from USMONOV, then bringing uppercuts through the middle. The hands of MOUAFO momentarily coming down. You can see he's in terrific condition, as is USMONOV. But again, MOUAFO quickening his feet now, getting over that front foot, working effectively to the body, inaccurate to the head. So would he be advised to try and target the body of his taller opponent? Good double right hook out of the orthodox stance, and then keeping the combination going is USMONOV. Right hand lead wasn't too far away from MOUAFO. Goes in search of a left uppercut, which was inaccurate, but the right cross which followed was right on the money. Beautiful spearing jab once again from USMONOV in between the high-held gloves of MOUAFO. MOUAFO standing flat-footed at centre ring. Good jabs to the body from MOUAFO as he pours forwards. But again, he's met by USMONOV and picked off as he sought to retreat. Well, it's a competitive contest this, but I find it very difficult to score the round in favor of MOUAFO, because as competitive as he's been, as crisp as his work has been, USMONOV has demonstrated all of those qualities, but just more of them in every completed round so far. So MOUAFO very much in the contest, but I'm not convinced that he's doing enough to win the contest, because this man's punch output has been unrelenting. Round 7. That's a nice right hand to the body from MOUAFO. Now did it stray around the rear to make it an illegal punch, kidney punch. Nice left jab, the stabbing variety from MOUAFO, but then look at that response, jabbing to the head, working down to the body before coming back up to the head from USMONOV. So the quality that MOUAFO possesses clear for all to see, but he just hasn't been able to demonstrate it quickly enough, and that is down to the man in front of him, Bakhodur USMONOV, who has not given him any time to set. Look at that variation of the jab once again, up and down to both body and head. Right hand over the top, threatening to stray into rabbit punch territory from MOUAFO, but again that's from good movement from USMONOV. Sporting touch of gloves, the action resumes, and it's USMONOV incessantly working behind that lead left hand once again. Exchange of jabs. See MOUAFO just force USMONOV to back up. Now he comes forward, doubling up the jab. But look at the non-stop movement from Bakhodur USMONOV, who's utilizing the space of the ring beautifully, raiding attack with a left and then a right hand to the body beneath the left hand, the left elbow of MOUAFO. So can MOUAFO turn these cameos of quality into more consistent success? Easier said than done, of course, because the man in front of him simply does not stop moving as he scores with another left jab to the body just a few moments ago. Counter left jab is an effective shot from USMONOV, and then turning that jab into a hook. Inaccurate with the right hand over the top. MOUAFO altogether close with the left hand that followed to the body. What a right hand from Christopher MOUAFO, and it dipped the knees of Bakhodur USMONOV. Christopher MOUAFO with his best shot of the entire contest, catching Bakhodur USMONOV as he was advancing. It doubled up the impact, and the man from Tajikistan had his knees dipped. Now he's back beyond punching range, allowing his head to clear. Did MOUAFO recognize to the extent to which he seemed to buzz the man, keeping his shape nicely, remaining disciplined, but that his best shot of the entire contest, and it gives us the most dramatic interlude we've had as USMONOV, seeking to back away from the incoming fire, finds his head in between the ropes. That, of course, illegal. Closing 20 seconds of this 7th round. Looking for the right hand once again was MOUAFO. This time it strays around the rear of USMONOV's neck. There he gets another right hand through. USMONOV trying to respond with shoe shine punches. Beautiful defensive with the gloves from MOUAFO. Left jab is the final shot of the round from Christopher MOUAFO. His best round of the contest, courtesy of a beautifully picked overhand right, which checked the chin. There it is. And look at how it disrupted the boxing stance of Bakhodur USMONOV, the 2023 World Championship bronze medalist. That is the threat that MOUAFO possesses. We've admired his ring craft and his skill set throughout this contest, but we're of the opinion that there simply wasn't enough of it in comparison to the non-stop work being produced by Bakhodur USMONOV. But that one moment of quality hasn't quite turned the tide of the contest, but that will surely give him encouragement and inspiration with 3 rounds of boxing scheduled to remain. So we move into round number 8. Christopher MOUAFO landing his best shot of the entire contest, perhaps the best single shot from either man in this affair. And that's not to negate from what they've done so far, because the combination from each of them has been a joy to behold. Left, right to the body from MOUAFO, and the body punching in particular has been a delight. There's another right hand over the top from MOUAFO, which got Bakhodur USMONOV's attention. He had to cover up, skit away, and MOUAFO, well, you'll know that his right hand can do damage here now. Shaking out that right arm. Is USMONOV okay? There, well, the way he's throwing that right hand, it seems to be okay. We're just stretching out that elbow momentarily. Approaching a minute gone in this 8th round. MOUAFO in search of the right hand once again. He won't want to become right hand happy. Beautiful 2-shot combination, then spinning off the line. Little gentleman's agreement between the two boxers there. I think USMONOV felt that he was hit low, so they just stood off. That's a right hand driven into the body, right uppercut, left hook from USMONOV. His wonderful combination punching. And now USMONOV, if he was momentarily stunned by that overhand right, my goodness, hasn't he got his wits back about him now? Because the non-stop movement has returned, as has the wonderful shot selection, as evidenced in that combination there. And MOUAFO, in comparison, is he perhaps putting his store into a single shot against a man like this, who isn't holding his feet at all? It's going to be very difficult to catch cleanly, is USMONOV. There, he wasn't too far away with the left hook, MOUAFO. Here he goes for the big overhand right once again, but it went long over the shoulder of USMONOV. There's the right hand success once more. So twice in 2 rounds, MOUAFO has found the range with his trusty backhand, and it's certainly got USMONOV's attention. But USMONOV back to his movement, back to sticking and moving and scoring frequently on his man with wonderful variety, showing his full repertoire of shots from just about every territory. My goodness, what a display being produced by Bakhodur USMONOV here. Slip and then a counter left uppercut on the inside. Both men inaccurate with singles as they attempted to trade off at center ring. First and third boxing from USMONOV once again as he ended the exchange with a wonderfully crisp left jab. So MOUAFO trying to get himself back into this portion of the round. Inaccurate with the left hook. Tucking up and slipping and sliding on the inside behind the Philly shell defense. But USMONOV keeping the movement going laterally left and right. Now on the front foot, snaps out another jab. The final scoring shot of the round. What a round. Again, MOUAFO having success with a right hand over the top. But that surely not enough to negate the non-stop punch picking that was produced. There was the right hand success, which was again the most solid shot of the round. But USMONOV's punch output was incessant during the course of that 3-minute stanza. So we move into round number 9. Bakhodur USMONOV's first scoring shot of the round is a jolting left jab from him. MOUAFO comes back with a 1-2 combination to the body, dipping at the knees nicely to exacerbate the difference in height and scoring with those 2 straight punches to USMONOV's torso. Counter right uppercut not too far away from USMONOV after he drew the lead from MOUAFO, but he was inaccurate with his 2-shot salvo. Look at how that left hand is able to snake its way in between the high-held gloves of MOUAFO. MOUAFO aware of that, onto the front foot, but made to swing and miss. Now finds himself pinned against the strands as USMONOV could turn the tables cleverly. But MOUAFO fights his way off the strands with an effective combination, only to run into more varied shots from Bakhodur USMONOV. Again, USMONOV changing angles in front of his man repeatedly. They're stepping off the line back and to his left was MOUAFO, but then scored upon with a good left jab to the body. Now it's USMONOV who strayed below the belt line. Sporting touch of blood between the two, no harm intended. Back on the jab immediately. Here's USMONOV. Look at that for a double jab, body and head, cracking it out like a whiplash into the target of Christopher MOUAFO. What can he do to try and slow down this man's punch output? His best punches have been the overhand right to the head. There was an eye-catching one in round 7 which really got the attention of USMONOV. Dipped his knees, made him become momentarily disorganized. I would have thought, given his structure and the repertoire that he possesses, that he scores with a good left hook to the body after he was left hooked upon, he would be wise to attack the body of USMONOV as he's operating out of the half-cover guard here now, tucking his chin behind his left shoulder. But look at the way USMONOV's gloves were able to get behind that right glove. And MOUAFO, covering up on the ropes, comes off the ropes with a beautiful right cross that was straight and solid down the pipe. But then it's USMONOV scoring once again, counter right hand from MOUAFO once more. Terrific two-way action, but for my money, it's USMONOV getting the better of it. Again, that jab has been non-stop. Beautiful lead left hand once more, turning it into a hook, and there it is once again, followed by a right hook around the corner. It's a result of years of practice, and to keep pumping out that jab like that, my goodness, Bakhodur USMONOV in some shape. Another good round of boxing. Well, wonderful to see that sportsmanship between the two boxers as we enter the 10th and final round. This contest made at 61.2 kilograms, just inside the lightweight limit of 135 pounds. Bakhodur USMONOV surely well on the way to retaining that IBA Intercontinental title. Earned last time out on the IBA.PRO stage here in May at the Tennis Water Sports Palace. Nice combination, putting MOUAFO onto the end of straight punches, and surely MOUAFO needs a stoppage here now. No doubting the man's quality and ring craft. He clearly knows what he's doing up in a boxing ring. Running to an accomplished IBA and indeed professional boxer who's in terrific form here tonight. Again, look at that lead left hand, and that has been his Sunday punch on this Tuesday night of fight action from the Tajikistan capital. Right hand to the body, left hook to the head, not too far away from MOUAFO. Scored upon with another left jab and another one. My goodness, that left hand has been a constant presence in the face and body of Christopher MOUAFO. Again, look at Bakhodur USMONOV go through the gears. MOUAFO trying to respond, but he didn't take his feet with him. And was short of the mark. Left hand through the glove, right hand around the rear of the glove, and Bakhodur USMONOV with the finish line in sight, really putting his full repertoire on display here now. Scoring beautifully, both upstairs and downstairs. MOUAFO again showing the competitor that he is, but he's been touched up repeatedly by this blizzard of blue boxing gloves from Bakhodur USMONOV. Contemptuously shakes his head, but he's been scored upon heavily by USMONOV with just about every punch in the book. Inside the final minutes of this final round, as a single right hand is slung into the body from USMONOV. There MOUAFO scores with a counter right hand over the top. There's a left jab from MOUAFO. Again, that left jab active and accurate all night long from USMONOV. So inside the final 30 seconds of the contest, MOUAFO only needs a single shot KO here. Show that he's got the armour with which to do it, because in the round 7, he uncoils the left hook to the head, then follows it up with a left hook to the body, digging away. He punches from both flanks with MOUAFO, but he's not going to find the KO finish that he needs. Here's a left hook from MOUAFO. Bakhodur USMONOV content to disengage, and that is because he has just produced a very good display indeed. Wonderful to see that respect between two accomplished operators. There can be little doubt that it's Bakhodur USMONOV who will be declared a victor here now. He makes his way over to exchange sentiments with the coaches of his team, of his opponent. Bakhodur USMONOV, who was presented with the incentive, as was Christopher MOUAFO. MOUAFO have a finish before the end of the 5th round. The winner would have been granted a brand new apartment. That is something that Davlat Boltaev was able to take advantage of. The first round stoppage in his super heavyweight contest against Solomon Adebayo. Bakhodur Usmonov producing a very good display, filled with variety, accuracy, activity, because his punch output barely slowed from opening bell to last. MOUAFO demonstrated his abundant quality during the course of the contest. In the presence of the IBA president, Mr. Umar Kremlev, Mr. Al Fiesta, man heading up IBA.PRO boxing, will present Bakhodur Usmonov with that IBA Intercontinental belt once again. Successful first defense, surely produced by the Olympian Bakhodur Usmonov.
Итак, уважаемые дамы и господа, по завершении главного события вечера обратимся к судейским запискам. 98, 92 дважды и 97, 93. Таким образом, единогласным решением судей одержал победу и остается не знающим поражений чемпионом IBA.PRO Intercontinental в легком весе Bakhodur Usmonov.
So Bakhodur Usmonov, draped beneath that distinctive Tajikistan flag, the IBA Intercontinental title proudly strapped around his waist. A very good display indeed to be declared a points decision victor over MOUAFO. Standing ovations from the fans in attendance here at the Tennis and Water Sports Palace in Dushanbe. And wonderful to see that respect and sportsmanship between the two. No complaint from MOUAFO. He played his part in what was a really entertaining, high-level affair of quality boxing. But my goodness, Bakhodur Usmonov was on it tonight. Incredibly active, varied with his attacks, had his chin checked by a cracking overhand right in the 7th round from MOUAFO. MOUAFO showcased his ring generalship, but simply not enough of it in the face of the non-stop sticking and moving from Bakhodur Usmonov. Proudly posing with his team who get him ready to fight. He's the man who does the fighting. Even though boxing is the ultimate individual sport, the preparation very much a team effort, and Bakhodur Usmonov acknowledging that by sharing this glorious moments of victory with his entire team. Well, let's take a look back at some of the highlights from this contest. As Bakhodur Usmonov addresses the crowd here at the Tennis and Water Sports Palace in Dushanbe.
Bakhodur Usmonov. Дорогие друзья, наш турнир не заканчивается. Нас ждут еще два поединка. Не расходитесь, пожалуйста. Это будут горячие противостояния. Обещаю.